everyone, it's Emily Graziano, and as promised, I'm doing a Kiss video because I have to really, do different things. I have to do film or the Beach Boys or something, and then I have to talk about Kiss. It's like, oh, I miss talking about Kiss. And this actually, this evolved. This video has evolved. I was gonna do a fanzines video, then I was gonna switch it to my favorite Kiss music videos, but then with news of Aerosmith's retirement, it got me thinking about something different that I don't think the fans talk about that much, and that's gratitude. Aerosmith is now done, off the road for good, and it's an argument that they didn't get to go out one last time and have the fans know that. Like, their last concert they played was unexpectedly going to turn out to be their last show. Whereas with Kiss, we got the build-up, we got the feeling, we got the prepare yourself emotion that Aerosmith fans do not get for that band. And I thought to myself, oh my god, Aerosmith, I will never get to go see them. I did not get to go see them. The thing is, and I just told this to somebody else the other day, if I couldn't convince my mom to let me go see Kiss as a child, there was no way I was going to get her to take me to any other show. Everything else would be off the table too. So I will never see Aerosmith in concert. And even though I did ask, I'm like, hey, do you want to go see Aerosmith? And I was like, no, Emily, they're older than dirt. And I'm like, well, if fresh dirt is made by worms every day, aren't we all older than dirt? She didn't really humor me on that one. But I just want to take a moment to discuss how grateful I was to see Kiss in concert 3 different times with my mom. And I realize now, I think that they're over, that this is the story I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm 27 and will be 28 later this month. And I think to myself, for this long, until November, December of 2023, until December 2023, Kiss was an active band in my life. I was born the year of the Kiss reunion, so I am insanely lucky the fact that they were active from 96 to 2023. And same with Aerosmith. They've always kind of been there, and I think people who are older than me, I don't know what they must be feeling, because it's like they're always there, but now they're not. And I realize this is gonna keep happening, okay? Brian Wilson, his solo career, not the Beach Boys. Mike Love has the legal Beach Boys name. But Brian Wilson touring solo, he's over. He's over. And again, very lucky. I got to see him once in 2018. It was before COVID. Sorry. And it was just I got to see him. Yes, it was towards the end of his career, but he was still there, playing the music that he wrote, that he created, and that's an experience in itself. It's like Paul and Gene. We can criticize Paul and Gene all we want, but at the end of the day, they were playing their music that they created with their makeup that they created in the room for all the fans, and I got to be there. And I can say the same with Ace. He got to play his music, even though it wasn't, I saw him separate on his solo tours. It's just something that I think about now, and it's like, well, okay, so we got Kiss the touring band is gone, despite Gene and Ace doing their own separate ventures, tours. Aerosmith is gone. Now, I think Joe Perry will still do the Joe Perry Project and the Hollywood Vampire, so you can go out and see Joe Perry, and I wouldn't rule that out. But it's like Aerosmith, as we know it, is over. There's going to be no more, like, oh, Aerosmith concert tonight. Like, not that I experienced that, but like, oh, somewhere out there in the world on social media, if you follow them on social media or have a friend who's going or something like that, it's like, oh, no pictures from an Aerosmith concert, no pictures from the Kiss concert. And with Kiss, I was really able to prepare myself with that. But now with Aerosmith, it's like, I guess the abruptness of it all, even though one could possibly predict this because of the state of Steven Tyler's voice, it's like, because it was that abrupt, it just makes you think, oh my God, you know how lucky we were that Kiss got to announce something and follow it through? Yes, I know we could sit here for 5 hours and talk about how bad Paul Stanley's voice was, or that they used backing tapes, or that it was Tommy and Eric in makeup, or that Ace and Peter didn't show up to the final concert, or Bruce wasn't included, or whatever. We could argue all that, but at the end of the day, they got to do something for their fans. And yes, I am someone who agrees the final concert should have been different. The pay-per-view, I watched the final concert on pay-per-view, and it was basically the same show, same old song and dance. But still, knowing the emotion of that, we watched it happen, whether through screen or live physical presence, it just got me thinking, like, I am so grateful that I got to go see Kiss. And every concert I go to, I'm not going to take for granted because of the people I'm going to see, like the band, the artist, the group, whatever, and they're probably at the end of their touring career. And then I can say I still saw them while I was in my 20s. That's pretty freaking amazing. I was discussing this with a friend a number of years ago. But my generation of people born in the 90s, they're the last generation that will get to go see these bands and actually remember it. Because let's face it, if you go to a concert at 7 or 8, how well are you going to remember that? Like, you can take pictures and say you were there, but I think, like, I look back at memories when I was 7 or 8, and I can remember it, and I can remember how things feel, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, they're fading away. That's a whole different other story, but this news of Aerosmith's retirement makes me so grateful that I'm in the Kiss Army, and that I have been in the Kiss Army since 1998, at the age of 2, and it just makes me so grateful that I got to see them and experience things, and I watched Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, which I absolutely think is hilarious. I got to be there for the Psycho Circus tour and the Rock the Nation tour, and I was there when Sonic Boom and Monster came out, and I don't remember when Carnival of Souls came out. I wasn't in this country, but I was still alive when it came out. I was just not in this country yet. I wasn't even adopted when the album came out. But it's like I got to be there for a chunk of the band's history and be there for the farewell tour and everything like that. And it just made me so grateful. Now, I think about this concept of gratitude and seeing the bands that I want to see. I want to see Def Leppard. I want to see Cheap Trick. I really want to see AC/DC, but I don't know. That all depends on if AC/DC decides to do a North American leg of their tour that they're currently on. So I understand that I may not, just because, that whole situation there. I want to see Ozzy Osbourne, but again, that's probably not going to happen due to Ozzy's state of being, like, he has a podcast now, and he's so funny on it with his family, with Sharon and Jack and Kelly. And I listen to that sometimes, and he's really funny, but performing, I don't know if he's, like, aside from a one-off show here or there, I don't think he will tour anymore. And that's really disheartening, because the Osbournes, I kind of used to watch it when I was little, but I really didn't know what it was about or anything like that. But I remember seeing promos, or I remember seeing like magazines about it when I was little, and I watched season 1 of the Osbourne. It's the funniest stuff. Like, but I want to see Ozzy Osbourne, but I know that may not happen. I really would, like, if I were given the opportunity to go see Mike Love's version of the Beach Boys, I would go, just because Mike is in his 80s now. I'm trying to think what other bands I'd really like to see. Queen, again, that depends on the whole situation, because they're touring to Phantom Lambert, and that all depends on if they can get it organized or not. So that's a whole different situation. But just to say, you saw Sir Brian May play the guitar live. Yes, people, he's a sir. He was knighted by King Charles. Too bad he wasn't knighted by Queen Elizabeth, but he's Sir Brian May now. I think it would be fun to go see... I'm trying to think. Watch, I'm gonna end this video and I'm like, oh, I should have said this, this, and this. But anyway, like, Def Leppard is at the top of my priority list, and AC/DC, if they tour, like, those would be the top 2. But yeah, I don't take anything for granted. I'd love to, oh, and probably Cheap Trick, so that would be like my top 3. I don't take any of this for granted, and I'm lucky that someone born at the edge of the 20th century can still say they saw these bands and artists and legendary people and remember it very well. So I'm grateful for all of the Kiss fans out there, for the Kiss Army, and just the fact that Kiss, warts and all, got wrapped up nicely, because for Aerosmith, it's not shocking, but it's still difficult to handle the news because it ended so abruptly. I think people, it's like people were calling for it to happen. Like, oh, just cancel the tour. Steven isn't well, blah, blah, blah. But now that it's happened, people are like, oh, we didn't actually think you would do it. It's kind of like that. So I'm just grateful that I got to see the artists that I got to see. I am hoping, praying that I will get to see some artists on my list that I do want to see. And for the artists that I will never get to see, like Aerosmith, you know, I'm just going to treasure the time that the world did have Aerosmith. The first Aerosmith song I heard was Get the Let Out. I was in my dad's office in our old house, and Get the Let Out was playing. And then my favorite ballad by Aerosmith, because they are very famous for doing ballads, is I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And I'm very happy that I got to be alive for that release, because I don't remember a time in my life without that song. I absolutely adore that song. For better or worse, I do. I'm a ballad chick. But anyway, gratitude. I am so thankful I got to see Kiss in concert, and they were active for 27 years of my life. And that's the wrap up of this. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. I'm Emily Graziano. Bye-bye.